found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time.
This one's wife. No, Harry, I'm keeping you. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There is a predictability about the narcissist where you identify that there has been a threat to the control of the narcissist will respond in such way in order to nullify that threat to control. There are three ways that the narcissist does this: directly, indirectly, or by withdrawal. If you'd like to understand more about those three assertions of control, and I'd encourage you to do so to expand on your knowledge of narcissism, you can obtain the very reasonably priced Three Assertions of Control, which you'll find in the Knowledge Vault, link in the video description. It really is eye-opening and will help you understand so much more about the way that the narcissist behaves. What we see with regularity with this one's wife is that where she has experienced a threat to control, for instance, there has been a rumour or some form of speculation that all is not well in the idyll at Monte Shitshow, that she's not successful, that things aren't progressing as well as they ought to in relation to her lifestyle brand, that she's criticised for her fashion. We regularly see that as a consequence of that, shortly thereafter, there is a response from her, which many people describe as her clapping back, whereby, stung by the criticism, which is a threat to control, her narcissism directs her to issue a diktat so that information is provided to say, actually, that's not the case, or look at me succeeding here. More high-level narcissists wouldn't have regard for the criticism in the first place. They'd be about much more important matters, or even where they became aware of it, they would just laugh it off. They would simply look at it as the tiny, teeny, tiny fists of the hoi polloi beating against the edifice that is them. But with this one's wife, she isn't that evolved as a narcissist. Yes, she is a full-blown one, but she's mid-range, which means that as a consequence of that fact, she regularly is not only badly affected by criticism as a threat to control, but she's motivated to do something about it rather than just ignore it. And that's why we see these repeated clapbacks. And it's happened again. There has been much suggestion that Harry has had enough of life in California. As I explained in a video earlier this week, he has been reaching out to various friends with the potential for trying to come back to Blighty. This naturally would not go down well with this one's wife, because it would suggest that he doesn't want to be with her, or that if he wants her to go with him, that the supposed idyll that they've created in Monte Shitshow isn't one. That is a criticism. Therefore, this one's wife will not like to read or hear about any suggestion that Harry is angling for a return to the United Kingdom. It threatens her control over him. Now, most people would just put it down to idle speculation and get on with something more meaningful. But not this one's wife. The suggestion that Harry's had enough, which, depending on who you talk to, might be a PR move on their part, it might be driven by self-interest, or it might be genuine, that he really is hacked off with life there and the way that he's being treated, nevertheless amounts to a threat to her control over Harry, and she has to deal with it. And thus, as is reported by Bill Bowkett in the Daily Mail, Prince Harry has no interest in leaving the United States and returning to royal duties in Britain, sources claim. So after plenty of people saying, well, actually, he's been contacting his friends and he's angling for a move back and he's cheesed off, and we can see that he's cheesed off and it's not turned out to be the dream that he thought it was. And bear in mind, remember, he is in the sustained devaluation with the narcissist, so life isn't that great for Harry. Not only has he been ostracised from friends, he's been ostracised from family, he's in a place in the world which isn't that familiar to him, and he has to deal with all of that essentially on his own, whilst his wife is intermittently unpleasant to him. Therefore, as a matter of evidence, it would make sense that Harry's had enough, because that's what happens in the narcissistic dynamic. Thus, the suggestion is, yeah, he's had enough and he wants to go. But now we're being told, no, that's not the case. Apparently, the Duke of Sussex has reportedly sought advice from trusted former aides on how to mastermind a return to the United Kingdom, nearly 5 years after he and his wife, this one's wife, stepped down as senior royals and decamped to Montecchio. But sources close to Harry, who turns 40 next week, told the Daily Telegraph that he is settled in California with this one's wife, 43, and their children, Prince Archie, 5, and Princess Lilibet, 3. Oh, okay. They also claim that Harry has an amazing new set of friends in the United States and several projects on the horizon. Really? So who are these amazing friends? Are these the ones we never see him with? Are these the ones that are never mentioned? What are the projects on the horizon? The old pipeline being rolled out again. Do you remember, was it last year, when this one's wife was on the red carpet somewhere and she had to be pushed along, and she talked about exciting projects, and so far diddly squat has turned up. Maybe it's more of that kind of shite. The report tells us, though, that Harry's currently preparing for a trip to New York, where he'll take part in engagements connected to his various charities, including the Halo Trust and the Diana Award. Yes, that's been mentioned previously, so they're not necessarily new and exciting projects, are they? The Mail on Sunday revealed last week the Duke had turned away from his Hollywood publicist and resorted to texting former confidants from his old life on how to mastermind a return from exile in the United States. It marks the first stage in a potential strategy to rehabilitate Harry and repair his relationship with his father, King Charles, following his cancer diagnosis earlier this year. Sources stress that Harry and this one's wife, who have spent the past 4 years living in self-imposed exile in California with their children, are not seeking a permanent return. The newspaper also revealed that the couple have parted company with yet another American PR advisor. Christine Schirmer joined the Sussex in 2020 as head of communications, but left quietly last year. It then mentions other people that had left. Harry is turning away from all sorts of Hollywood publicists and is seeking counsel from his own friends and associates, said a source. He's clearly reaching out thinking, I need to do something different because what I'm doing is clearly not working. In short, he's rethinking the way that he operates. Well, that's a restatement of doing all of that, but the fact is, whilst it repeats that he is going to come back, there's also the report that that's not the case and he's happy and that he is content where he is. And naturally, that suggestion must have come from this one's wife's camp to try and nullify this threat of the suggestion that Harry's had enough, because that threatens her control over him. Thus, once again, she shows her predictability. There is tittle-tattle in the press, based perhaps on some substance, that Harry is angling to return to the UK. That threatens this one's wife's sense of control over him, and therefore she has to make it known through sources that no, actually, he's really happy here, he's got amazing friends and lots of things on the pipeline. A piss-poor attempt to nullify threat to control, but again, that's what it is. What are your thoughts on the matter? Do you think Harry is angling for a return? Do you think he's actually really happy in California? Or do you think he's miserable but he doesn't know what yet to do about it? Let me know your observations in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.